Hey, Kate Duffy here from Tipping Point Recovery, where we're doing things differently. We are teaching you by lifting the veil from my and others on our team personal experience struggling with drug and alcohol addiction, and we're helping families. And today I want to talk about a text I received, which is really common, and it's in these text messages that I teach, that I have discovered the way out for families and the way families can best help their loved one. So I'm going to read the text and I'm going to talk and share a little bit about what I said to this individual who texted me, and also what I want you to know most about this situation. First line that comes in is, I'm reaching out to you right now because my family is in crisis. I'm going to stop right there and say something. This particular family is in crisis right now because they just had to set a boundary and send the substance user home, and they're feeling crisis. The crisis has been going on for years. However, I want to point out, right? This individual's been using drugs to cope with life and alcohol since 12 years old. And I'm not sure if this person is in 30s or 40s, but we're talking about a long time. And so addiction doesn't happen overnight. The crisis happens when we as families decide we don't want to take it anymore, or it's tipped the scale in terms of what we can tolerate. So you don't have to wait for the bottom to fall out when it comes to drug and alcohol addiction. In fact, I wish people wouldn't wait for the bottom to fall out. It's really the only illness in the world that we wait for it to get worse before we treat. So I just wanted to stop there and say, I'm glad they're reaching out for us. And this isn't a criticism of this family, but the point at which the crisis becomes worthy of a phone call for help to a professional service varies from family to family, right? And I just want to point out that this crisis has been going on for a long time, and it's reached a pinnacle point for this family. They're at their tipping point. They're ready for help. So her sister came to visit them, and after 5 days, they had to send her back home on an airplane early because she was over-medicated, high or both. And they didn't know if they were coming or going with all the lies, and they didn't want to enable her addiction. It was awful and the most heartbreaking thing I've ever done. So I want to talk through some of what I hear in this. So this problem's been going on for a long time, and a lot of us alcoholics and addicts can cover this up for a long, long time. And us as family, we put up with, we accommodate, we tolerate, we love, we try to help. And that feels like a way we can help is by putting up with until we can't anymore, right? I just want to point that out. That's what's happening here. So they put this person on a plane. They set a boundary for themselves, a healthy boundary. We can't be around this. We don't know if we're coming or going, and we don't know what's a lie and what's not a lie. And that is how addiction presents, usually with lying. I want to point out addiction's presenting with lying. Your person is lying, but they're not a liar. They're sick. And they're struggling with addiction. It's maddening, I get it, but that's a separate issue, right? I just want to point out someone's lying because this illness presents as a lying, denying, justifying, and rationalizing illness. For example, with Alzheimer's, we know it changes the brain in a way that the individual forgets things, but we don't get as frustrated with that illness, though it's super frustrating. I do follow a few people on TikTok who are documenting their loved one's journey with dementia and Alzheimer's, and it's super frustrating. But we're taught it's a brain disorder, it's going to look this way, and here are some tools to strategize to help you navigate it, right? But it's an expectation that the family has. With addiction, we're not teaching it yet. Here at Tipping Point we are, but in the world, you're not hearing it being described as a condition that's changing the brain, and therefore the behavior is going to look a certain way. And so therefore, we're more usually frustrated, and we respond to the alcoholic and addict who's struggling with our frustration and our anger. And if you do that with dementia and Alzheimer's, you're going to see it's just a never-ending spiral that you're caught in. So just want to point out, you don't have to stay in that cycle with addiction. And that's what we're teaching at Tipping Point. So this sister of the alcoholic is saying it was the most heartbreaking thing I've ever done. What I like to point out to this person reaching out to me is, your issues are, it's the most awful and heartbreaking thing I've ever done, and I want to help you with that. How to unpack that and how to know it's okay to set that boundary. By educating her, I can help her come to grips with, even though it was awful and heartbreaking, it was the right thing, right? She's second guessing herself now. And I want to help her understand and strengthen her insides around that decision making, because she's going to need to make other decisions like that. That's a really healthy boundary. And it's the right thing. But if this woman stayed alone in her awful and heartbreaking decision, she may next time not set a healthy boundary, which isn't good for her or her loved one, right? And so I love that they set this boundary. The part that I now want to focus on is they put this individual on a plane to go home. And what I want to make sure the family understands is this individual needs help. And they know it, right? But here's, our text went on when I was explaining to her that you did the right thing. And do you want to offer her help? Professional help, right? And so the sister replied to me saying she has proven in the past that she can do it on her own. She got off of cocaine, oxycodone, methadone, and other prescription meds on her own without professional help. But she just jumps from one addiction to the other. This was the sister's reply. And so it is really common for all of us in the world to want and think that the individual struggling can do this on their own. And part of the challenge with that is sometimes we do. Mostly we don't, right? So she has proven in the past that she can get off these things, but then she just chooses another addiction. So here's what I want to point out about that. And that's because her problem is not cocaine and oxycodone and methadone. Her problem is an inside problem that she's self-medicating with these drugs. So correct, when the drugs go away, I need something else from the outside to cope with. And that's another addiction: sex addiction, money, overspending, gambling, working, relationships. Until we're treated, we will just seek another addiction. For me, when I got sober, after several years, I noticed my sugar intake was really climbing. And I don't just mean I was eating a lot of sugar. I was straight up addicted to sugar like I had been alcohol. And it started to impact my life in a way that alcohol did. I was justifying, I was rationalizing, and I was feeling sick when I was eating it. And I had to do a deeper dive or chose to do a deeper dive on myself as a recovering person. So I caution you, when you hear yourself saying or feeling or thinking, they've proven it in the past, they can do it, so I want them to do it again. I understand why you want them to do it. I do too. I just want you to know that the majority of people don't or can't. And it's why we lose so many people to addiction. So while someone has been able to do it in the past, if they're not doing it now, the past is usually an indicator of the future, right? And so sometimes professional guidance to how to help her is best. Now I want to talk about that for a minute, because it takes a little bit of understanding. We have professional guidance here and we are experts at engaging people, but typically we're not going to engage your loved one by them calling us. They might. You certainly can give them our phone number and hope they call. 98% of them don't, because they're addicted and they're caught in the trap of lying, denying, and justifying and rationalizing. So what we do at Tipping Point is we want to help you get them to call us. And we have a way that we teach you to do that. And that's our starter program, Stop the Chaos. And that is what this individual and her mom are going to begin with. They're coming to our double circle meeting and they're going to take Stop the Chaos. That's the place at Tipping Point where you can start to get the a lot of information about how to make changes. The other thing she said in her text message to me that I just wanted to speak about was, she said, I know it's a holiday weekend. This was over Labor Day. And my reply is, it doesn't matter if it's a holiday or a Saturday or a Friday or a Tuesday, because drug and alcohol addiction is 24/7. Now, I don't work 24/7, but I have really good boundaries about when I do work and when I don't. So if I'm looking at my phone, you can rest assured that I'm able to reply, or I'll make a note and reply to you later. But it doesn't matter what day, because this is a life-threatening illness. We do work many days, and I take off when I can and need to, and I'll manage that balance. But don't ever worry about texting me on a weekend. This woman has gone ahead and looked on our website and our YouTube channel and my Facebook profile to find all of our free content. And I wish there was more, and there is more coming. That's why I'm making this video right now, for people to access this information, because we want you to have the knowledge, the tools, and the resources to make a difference. Because you're not wrong for setting healthy boundaries. They are hard to set, but we'd like to help you do that so that you don't live drowning in the chaos of addiction, and your loved one actually will create change when you change. We're asking you to do some hard things so that they can. Yeah, so stick around. Come back and listen to another one. Forward this on to someone if you think it will be helpful to them. And I hope something here today that I said is landing with you. Go do something different. I know I am.